Good morning, students. In physical pharmaceutics second subject, learn about the unit viscosity and rheology. In viscosity and rheology unit, the topic of today's interest is introduction of rheology, Newtonian systems, law of flow, kinematic viscosity, then effect of temperature on viscosity. So the learning objectives of today's lecture is to study about the introduction of viscosity and rheology. Then we have to discuss about the different types of description regarding the Newtonian systems. Then law of flow. Then we have to study about the kinematic viscosity and lastly effect of temperature on viscosity. So these are the different objectives of today's lecture, and I hope the student will be able to know about all these aspects after completion of today's lecture. Now, starting from the definition of rheology. So when we go through the rheology, it is the very broad term or very important term regarding the science or physics that concerns with the flow of liquids, and not only for the liquid, it is also related with the deformation of solids. So in case of liquids, it is related with the flow properties of liquids, and in case of solid materials, it is generally regarding is deformation of solids. Study of whole flow properties of liquid is very important for a manufacturing pharmacist working in the manufacturing industry for different type of dosage forms like simple liquids, gels, ointments, creams, and paste, etc. So flow properties of liquid is very important and it must be considered at the time of manufacturing of different dosage form. Either it may be in the liquid dosage form or maybe semi-solid dosage form or maybe in the solid type of dosage form. These systems change their flow behavior when exposed to different stress conditions. So flow behavior can be changes under the different stress condition, and depending on these changes, we can classify the different type of liquid materials or solid material into different classes. So the term rheology was derived from the Greek words rheos means flow and logos means science. So rheology means science of flow. It is a Greek word which has the meaning flow ability or flow property of any type of liquid material as well as the related with the deformation of solids. It is used to describe the flow of liquids and deformation of solid substances. And the pioneer of modern rheology is known as Bingham. So Bingham, who is the very famous scientist who discovered the rheology, so they are known as pioneer of modern rheology. Viscosity is an expression of the resistance of a fluid to flow. So it is simply defined as the material having the higher the viscosity, there will be the greater resistance to flow. So generally the viscosity is the expression or it is related with the resistance of a fluid to flow. When we compare the water and honey, you can find the water having less viscosity than the honey because there is the greater is the resistance to flow in case of honey compared to water. So we can say that the water having less viscosity than honey. So simply we can conclude that higher the viscosity of any material, the greater will be the resistance to flow of that material. So rheology is the study of deformation of solids as well as the flow of matter. And fluid can be commonly known as a substance that deforms continuously under the action of shearing force. So when we apply a force, there may be the deformation of that substance, and this will be known as deformation of that substance. So complex fluid do not follow the simple behavior of flow or like Newton's law or Hooke's law. So we can use the another type of law related with the complex fluids. When we go through the importance or significance of biology in our pharmacy, so we can see here there are so many effects which are related with the biological aspect of materials, like manufacturers of medicinal and cosmetic creams, paste and lotions must be capable of producing products with acceptable consistency. Here the consistency is also related with the flow ability. So acceptable consistency with smoothness and reproducing these qualities each time when a new batch is prepared. So manufacturers of different type of medicinal preparation as well as the cosmetic pressure having the very important concern regarding the rheology or viscosity of the different materials. Rheology is involved in the different unit process like the mixing and flow of materials, their packaging into containers, and their removal prior to use, whether this is achieved by pouring from a bottle, extrusion from a tube, or passage through a syringe needle. So as we discussed, it is not only related with the semi-solid compound or semi-solid substances, but also related with the solid material as well as the liquid material. In case of semi-solid substances like cream, ointment, paste, gel, jellies, so pouring from a bottle or extrusion from a tube, it is related with the semi-solid material and which having viscosity or rheology is very important parameter regarding these type of semi-solid dosage form. When we go through the liquid materials, the mixing and flow of material or their packaging into container also involve the rheological aspects. So the rheology of a particular product, which can range in consistency from fluid to semi-solid to solid, can affect different parameters like patient acceptability, physical stability, and biological availability. So patient acceptability, physical stability, and bioavailability related with the biology of a particular product. Either it may be in the semi-solid condition, or maybe solid state, or maybe in the liquid state. So for example, viscosity has been shown to affect absorption rates of drugs from the GIT, gastrointestinal tract. So absorption is very important pharmacokinetic parameter. So absorption is related with the bioavailability also. So viscosity has been shown to affect the absorption rate of different drugs from the GIT, gastrointestinal tract. Rheological properties of a pharmaceutical system can influence the selection of processing equipment used in its manufacture. So, in case of manufacturing of different pharmaceutical products in an industry, the selection of processing equipment or manufacturing equipment is based on the rheological properties of the substance. Inappropriate equipment from this perspective may result in an undesirable product, and at least in terms of its flow characteristics. So when we go through the pharmaceutical industry and in manufacturing system, biological properties of the pharmaceutical system should be considered very carefully, and we have to select a appropriate or suitable equipment based on the biological properties of different materials. So inappropriate equipment from this perspective may result a desirable product, whereas inappropriate equipment from this perspective may result in an undesirable or unwanted product, and at least in terms of its flow behavior or flow characteristics. Now, in fundamentals of rheology, so there are two aspects related with the rheological parameters. First one is the manufacturing of dosage form, and second one is the handling of drugs for administration. So, in case of manufacturing of dosage form, like the materials undergo process such as mixing, flowing through pipes, filling into the containers, etc. Flow related changes influence the selection of mixing equipment. So manufacturing of dosage form where the different type of unit operations can be carried out, like mixing, then flowing through the pipes, filling into the containers. So these flow related changes affects the selection of mixing equipment also. Manufacturing of dosage form involves the biological concept regarding this. Similarly, handling of drugs for administration. So, like the syringeability of the medicines, especially in case of liquid dosage form, the pouring of the liquids from containers, in case of semi-solid dosage form, then extrusion of ointment from tubes. So, all these type of parameters or characteristics of depends on the changes in flow behavior of dosage form. So flow properties or flow behavior or biological principles are involved in all these changes. So handling of drugs for administration as well as the manufacturing of dosage form involve the rheology and viscosity. Now, when we discuss about the viscosity, it is the internal properties of a fluid that offers resistance to flow. As I earlier discussed, more resistance to flow, greater will be the viscosity. So it is the internal property of a substance that offers resistance to flow. For example, pushing a spoon with a small force move it easily through a bowl of water, but the same force moves mashed potatoes very slowly. So, more resistance to flow from one side to another side, the more viscosity of that liquid or that substance is. So, viscosity is an internal property of a particular fluid that offers resistance to flow. Now, when we go through the systemic definition of the viscosity, it is defined as the ratio of shear stress to shear rate, where the shear stress is known as force per area. So, when we apply a particular force to unit area, then there will be the change in the velocity per distance. So dv by dr is the shear rate. So velocity with the distance, it is shear rate, and the force per area is the shear stress. And viscosity is defined as the ratio of shear stress to shear rate. So definition of viscosity, it is defined as the ratio of shear stress to shear rate. So now let us discuss the viscosity concept in detail. What is shear stress, what is shear rate, and how it is measured. So when if we are able to isolate a cubic volume of fluid, which is given in the right side, we could visually see the shear stress is the relative force between the upper and lower faces of the cube per unit area. So when we assume there is a ice cube, so when we isolate this cubic volume of fluid, we could see the shear stress, and shear stress is known as the relative force between the upper as well as the lower faces of this cube per unit area. Mathematically, it is written like the F by A. So F dash is the shear stress, which can be written like the force per area. Then second parameter is the rate of shear. Is then defined as the relative viscosity between the upper and lower faces divided by the length between them. So length can be represented by L, and the upper and lower faces are given here, and the relative velocity between these upper and lower faces can be termed as V. So the rate of shear is the ratio, or it is the V by L, relative velocity between the upper and lower faces divided by the length between two of them. So V is the relative velocity and L is the length between upper and lower faces. So the viscosity is ratio of shear stress to rate of shear. So the unit of shear stress is given as dynes per square centimeter because it is the F by A. F is the force and the unit of force is dynes and A is the area. It can be denoted in square centimeter. So the unit of shear stress will be the dynes per square centimeter in our centimeter gram second system. So for shear rate, the units are per second because the shear rate can be represented by V by L, where V is the velocity change and then L is the length. So the shear rate, the units are per second. This gives the viscosity in dynes second per centimeter square, or generally it is known as centipoise. An oversimplified but more intuitive grasp of viscosity can simply be stated as the measure of the internal friction that arises whenever a liquid flows. Essentially, the thicker the liquid, the more it resists the tendency to flow, and the higher will be the viscosity. So, viscosity measures the internal friction that arises whenever a liquid flows. When the friction is more, then there will be the viscosity is more. And the viscosity is generally related with the flow ability of that particular liquid system. So if the resistance to flow is more, then we can simply say that the viscosity of that particular liquid is more. So when we go through the diagrammatic representation of viscosity, there are different layers. Upper layer and lower layer is given. A is the surface area, dv is the velocity difference. So when we move or when we apply force per area, there is the deformation of the substance or liquid or fluid can occur, and it will depends on the distance or length of the upper and layer surface. So dx is the difference between the length, F is the force applied, dv is the velocity difference, and A is the surface area. So now eta or viscosity can be represented like F dash by S, where F dash is the shear stress and S is the shear rate. So when we go through the rheology, now there are two types of liquid, or rheology can be defined is the study of Newtonian as well as the non-Newtonian liquids. So rheology combinedly study of all these type of liquids, whether it may be Newtonian and non-Newtonian. Now let us see what is the Newtonian liquid, what is the Newton's law of flow, and what is non-Newtonian liquids. So types of fluids, when we go through the types of fluid based on the viscosity or rheological behavior, they can be classified as Newtonian fluids as well as the non-Newtonian fluids. So before starting the Newtonian fluid, we have to go through the law of flow, which is known as Newton's law of flow. So what is the law of flow? It is different from Newton's law of gravity. So what is law of flow? So Newton was the first to study now properties of liquids in a quantitative way. So it was studied by the Newton in a quantitative way. So and based on this study, he states that the Newton's law of flow states that the shear stress between adjacent fluid layers is proportional to the velocity gradient between two layers of shear rate. So as we already defined what is shear stress is mathematically written like F dash equal to F by A. Force per area is the shear stress, whereas the shear rate is the velocity gradient between two layers. It is defined as dv by dr, where dv is the velocity difference and dr or dx or L is the length between two layers. So, as per the Newton's law of flow, which states that the shear stress between adjacent fluid layers is proportional to the velocity gradient between two layers or shear stress. In simple words, is for the law of flow, we can say that the shear stress is directly proportional to the shear rate. So Newton's law of flow or simple law of flow can be written as the shear stress is directly proportional to the shear rate. So when we go through the law of flow, we can easily understand with the help of this two-plate model. So the two-plate models provide a mathematical description for viscosity. There are two plates with fluids placed in between. The lower plate does not move. So when we take the two-plate model, when we place the fluid between them, the lower plate does not move. The upper plate drifts aside very slowly and subjects the fluid to a stress, which is parallel to its surface, and it is resembles the shear stress. So the force applied to the upper plate divided by this plate's area defines the shear stress. And we already know what is shear stress. This is the F by A, force per area. So the force applied to the upper plate divided by this plate's area, it defines the shear stress in terms of Newton per meter square. In CGS system, it is the Newton per centimeter square, and which is also named as Pascal. The two-plate model allows for calculating another parameter. So as we go through the two-plate model, we can also calculate the very important parameter. This is known as shear rate. And as we already discussed with the example of cube of ice, we can understand the shear rate. So shear rate is represented by dV dr. So dV is the velocity difference and dr is the distance between the two plates. So the shear rate is the velocity of the upper plate divided by the distance between the two plates. So as we already seen, this is the velocity gradient or dv by dr, where the shear rate is the velocity of the upper plate divided by the distance between two plates. The unit is per second or reciprocal of second. So when we go through the law of flow, rate of shear or shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear. And when we go through the unit of viscosity, so for a Newtonian system, a representative flow curve or rheogram by plotting F versus G, where F is the shear stress and G is the shear rate. So when we plot a graph between F versus G, it will be known as flow curve or rheogram. So what is rheogram? So when we plot a curve between the shear stress and shear rate, it will be known as rheogram or flow curve, or it is also known as consistency curve. So for a Newtonian system, a representative flow curve or rheogram by plotting shear stress versus shear rate is shown in our next slides, where a straight line passing through the origin is obtained. So when we go through the graph, you can find the flow curve or consistency curve, which is plotted between the F and G. The CGS unit of viscosity is the OH, like dyne second per centimeter square or gram centimeter inverse second inverse. So the unit of viscosity in terms of centimeter gram second system, this is the OH, which is defined as the shearing force required producing a velocity of 1 centimeter per second between two parallel planes of liquid, each 1 centimeter square in area and separated by a distance of 1 centimeter. So shearing stress and shearing rate, which is very important to define the viscosity of any particular system. And the CGS unit to represent the viscosity is the OH, and it can be defined as the shearing force required producing a velocity of 1 centimeter per second between two parallel planes of liquid, each 1 square centimeter in area and separated by a distance of 1 centimeter. The SI unit is Pascal second or Newton second per meter. And very important term which is related with the reciprocal of viscosity is defined as fluidity. So opposite to viscosity, viscosity is resistance to flow and fluidity is the reciprocal of viscosity. So when we represent the fluidity by phi, it is the 1 by eta, where eta is the viscosity of particular compound. And reciprocal of this viscosity is known as fluidity. It is just opposite to viscosity. Now, based on law of flow, there are two types of liquid, as we earlier discussed, Newtonian as well as the non-Newtonian. So, Newtonian liquids which obey the Newton's law of flow. And what is Newton's law of flow? Where the rate of shear and shear stress are directly proportional to each other. So, Newtonian fluids. So, this type of flow behavior Newton assumed for all fluid is called, not surprisingly, Newtonian. So Newtonian fluid which obey the Newton's law of flow. So, but other type of or many of the liquids or substances can show the deviation from this type of law of flow or Newtonian law of flow, and they are classified as non-Newtonian fluid. So when we go through the diagrammatic representations of Newton's fluid or Newtonian fluid, we can see here where the shear stress F dash and shear rate is plotted in this rheogram or consistency curve. So graph A shows that the relationship between the shear stress and shear rate, and there is a straight line can be observed. And graph B shows that the fluid's viscosity remain constant as the shear rate is varying. So this is the typical curves for Newtonian fluid like water and thin motor oils. So this is the characteristic graphs for Newtonian fluids. When we go through the Newtonian fluids, there will be the straight line can be observed between the curve of shear stress and shear rate. And fluid's viscosity remain constant at the shear rate is varying. So these are the different characteristics curve or rheograms for Newtonian fluids or Newtonian liquids. Now, after the discussion of Newtonian fluid, there is another type of viscosity which is known as kinematic viscosity. But starting from the dynamic viscosity, first we have to discuss about the what is dynamic viscosity, and then we have to discuss about the kinematic viscosity. So dynamic viscosity, which is known as absolute viscosity. So what is dynamic viscosity? Let us see here. So the dynamic viscosity eta of a fluid is a measure of the resistance it offers to relative shearing motion. So eta is equal to F by A into mu F, or eta is equal to tau divided by mu divided by H Newton second per meter square. So dynamic viscosity, which is known as absolute viscosity, and it can be represented in terms of poise or centipoise, where the kinematic viscosity it is defined as the ratio of absolute viscosity to the density of fluid. So when we divide the viscosity with the density of fluid, then it will be termed as kinematic viscosity. So kinematic viscosity is the ratio of absolute viscosity to the density of fluid, and it can be written like V equal to eta by rho, where eta is the viscosity or absolute viscosity and rho is the density of fluid. So when we divide this absolute viscosity to the density of fluid, we can obtain the value of kinematic viscosity. So the unit of kinematic viscosity is generally Stoke or centi-Stoke. So we can represent the kinematic viscosity in terms of Stokes or centi-Stoke. So absolute viscosity, and then second one is the kinematic viscosity. So there are two types of viscosity. with their separate units. Now, after it, we have to discuss about the what is the significance or what is the influence of temperature on viscosity. So this is very important parameter which is related with the viscosity of different material. So temperature always mentioned when we want to express the viscosity results. So because the temperature affect the viscosity, so we have to always mention the temperature when we are using the viscosity terms. So apart from the shear weight, temperature strongly influences a fluid's viscosity. A substance viscosity decreases with increasing temperature. So in general case, when we consider the temperature is the increment or increasing the temperature, the viscosity will be decreases. So a substance viscosity decreases while increasing the temperature. As temperature is raised, the fluidity of liquid is the reciprocal of viscosity increases with temperature. So it's opposite to the viscosity, fluidity. So fluidity increases with increasing the temperature, while viscosity decreases with increasing the temperature. For example, water having the viscosity 72.8 dyne per centimeter. So when we increase the temperature, the viscosity of water will be reduced. So water having the viscosity 1 centipoise at 20 degrees centigrade, and if we increase the viscosity, then there will be the temperature is related with the viscosity. When we increase the temperature, then there will be the reduction in the value of viscosity. Like the surface tension, the water having the surface tension 72.8 dyne per centimeter. So when we increase the temperature, the surface tension value will also affect it. Similarly, the viscosity value will be also affected by the temperature. Any change in temperature always influences the viscosity, but for different fluids, the extent of this influence varies. Even at 1 Kelvin or 1 degree centigrade temperature increases can raise the viscosity by 10%. So by this example, we can see that the temperature having very important role when we defining or when we determining the viscosity. So always mention the temperature when we are expressing the viscosity. So consideration of the effect of temperature on viscosity is very important or very essential in the evaluation of materials that will be subjected to temperature variations in use or processing, such as motor oils, greases, and hot melt adhesives. So temperature should be very carefully observed or measured at the evaluation of different materials regarding their rheological behavior. So the viscosity of liquid decreases with increasing the temperature. Like the viscosity of gases increases with the increasing the temperature. So the viscosity of liquid decrease with increasing the temperature because of the increment in the kinetic energy of different molecules. When we increase the temperature, the viscosity value affect. So viscosity of liquid general cases decreases with increasing the temperature, but opposite to liquids, in case of viscosity of gases, it increases with increase in the temperature. So when we plot a graph between the temperature and kinematic viscosity, we can compare the viscosity of different substances, whether it may be like common gases and fluids like mercury, water, oil, air, hydrogen, helium. So by going through this rheogram or curve, we can easily understand the effect of temperature on the viscosity of different gases as well as on the different liquid materials. So when we go through the another type of examples which are can be very important regarding the influence of temperature on the viscosity of that substance. So the lubricant oil viscosity at a specific temperature can be either calculated from the viscosity temperature equation or obtained from the viscosity temperature ASTM chart. So there are different viscosity temperature equations are given here, like the Reynolds equation, Slot equation, Walther equation, or Vogel equation. So these are the very important equation which is capable to express the effect of this temperature with the viscosity of particular substances. So these are the different equations which can be commonly known as viscosity temperature equations. We can calculate the viscosity by with the help of these type of viscosity temperature equations. So these are the another diagram or curve which show the viscosity temperature characteristics of selected oils. So you can see here where the kinematic viscosity decreases while increasing the viscosity for different oil substances like maybe mineral oil or maybe silicone or maybe diester or maybe chlorinated silicone. So this curve or flow curve or rheogram also explain the viscosity temperature dependence. So viscosity is decreases with while increasing the temperature of these oil substances, and the curve is shown here. So shear rate, as we already discussed, non-Newtonian fluids tend to be the rule rather than the exception in the real world, making an appreciation of the effects of shear rate a necessity for anyone engaged in the practical application of the rheological data. So in case of non-Newtonian liquids, we have to consider the shear rate very carefully. Now, when we go through the viscosity of different substances with a specific temperature, like the air having the viscosity in the units are Pascal second. It can be represented in poise or centipoise also, as we already discussed in very detail. So water having the viscosity 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 Pascal second, or maybe in 1 centipoise. So canola oil having 0.1, motor oil at room temperature 1, and corn syrup is giving 8 Pascal second. So viscosity is always mentioned with their temperature. So the temperature having very crucial or very important role regarding the viscosity. So viscosity, density, pressure, and fluid purity must also be considered as must other factors such as vibration, range ability, and required response time. See, the oval gear flow meter, although representing a popular choice, is just one design out of many positive displacement technologies that can handle high viscosity flow. So, in pharmaceutical industries, regarding the manufacturing equipment, we have to consider this viscosity or resistance to flow or rheological properties of different powder as well as the different liquid material as well as the semi-solid material very carefully. Otherwise, damage may be occur. So broadly, we classified the Newtonian and non-Newtonian liquid based on Newton's law of flow, and the rate of shear is directly proportional to the shear stress when we consider the Newton's law of flow, and the liquid which obey this type of law of flow is known as Newtonian liquid. Very common examples like simple liquids like simple motor oils or water, etc. We can use the simple instrument for measurement of viscosity of these type of Newtonian liquids. And when we go through the non-Newtonian liquids, they are the liquid which do not obey the Newton's law of flow. So although the non-Newtonian liquid is very broad topic, we will discuss the non-Newtonian topic in our next lecture. But for introduction, as we already discussed, Newton was the first to study flow properties of liquid in quantitative terms. Liquid that obey Newton's law of flow are always Newtonian fluids, where the shear stress can be represented by capital F and rate of shear can be represented by G. And when we plot a graph between the G and F, rate of shear and shear stress, we can obtain a straight line, and this is the characteristic graph of Newtonian flow. And the Newtonian flow can be shown by the very important type of liquids which can be termed as Newtonian liquids. Similarly, The non-Newtonian flow means the non-Newtonian bodies or the substances which fail to follow Newton's law of flow, they are classified in the category of non-Newtonian liquids. So in non-Newtonian liquids, it is just opposite to the Newtonian flow, and they cannot follow the Newton's law of flow where the rate of shear is directly proportional to shear stress. Some of the examples are liquid and solid, heterogeneous dispersions such as colloidal dispersions, colloidal solutions, emulsions, liquid suspensions, and ointments. So when we want to determine the viscosity of these non-Newtonian type of liquids or non-Newtonian flow behavior of the substances, we have to use the separate type of viscometers to measurement of viscosity. And there are three types of flow which can be combinedly known as non-Newtonian flow, plastic flow, pseudoplastic flow, and dilatant flow. We will discuss non-Newtonian flow in our next lecture in very detail. And the rheograms of these type of non-Newtonian liquid as well as the Newtonian liquids are given here, where the rate of shear and shear stress is plotted against each other. So when we obtain the straight line when plotting against the shear stress, we can conclude that our substance is Newtonian in nature and the fluid is defined as Newtonian fluid. Whereas in non-Newtonian liquids, there will be no straight line, it will be curved or it will be just opposite. So like the plastic flow or pseudoplastic flow or dilatant flow, these are the different substances or the flow behavior which can show the deviation from the Newton's law of flow. So this is all about our today's lecture. So you can go through these references and find out the more material regarding the viscosity and rheological properties of different substances. So in our today's lecture, when we summarize, we discussed about the introduction of rheology and we define the rheology. Then we discuss about the application of rheology in pharmaceutical sciences. Then we discuss about the different types of substances based on the Newton's law of flow. What is law of flow and how it is obeyed by Newtonian liquids. Then we classified the geological behavior or viscosity of a particular system in terms of Newton's law of flow is Newtonian flow as well as the non-Newtonian flow. Then we discuss about the characteristics of Newtonian flow or Newtonian fluids. So this is all about the today's lecture. Please go through the lecture and find out the different concepts regarding the geology of viscosity. Now in quiz part, so there are some of the questions which are related with the today's lecture. The question number 1, which one of the following is not a unit of dynamic viscosity? So as we discussed in dynamic viscosity, absolute viscosity divided by density is the dynamic viscosity. So we have to go to the chapter and find out the units of dynamic viscosity and give the answer. Which one of the following is not a unit of dynamic viscosity? Like Pascal second, Newton second per square meter, Voigt, Stokes. Then which one of the following is the CGS unit of dynamic viscosity? Like Stokes, Pascal, square meter, or centipoise. The next question is, which of the following is a unit of kinematic viscosity? Like Stokes, Pascal second, square second, or poise. So we already discussed about the units of different type of viscosity. Either it may be kinematic viscosity or dynamic viscosity. So please go through the chapter and find out the particular unit of these parameters. Then the numerical is given here, like the shear stress at a point in a liquid is found to be 0.03 dyne per square centimeter. Shear stress is given. Then the velocity gradient at the point is given a 0.15 per second. Now we have to calculate the what is the value of viscosity in voids. So please go through the formula and find out the viscosity for this numerical. Then at 30 degrees centigrade, water has the viscosity of, as we already discussed, always mention the temperature when we want to express the viscosity. So as the temperature increases, we already see the effect of this temperature on the viscosity of different liquids. So at 30 degrees centigrade, water has the viscosity of a 0.801, B2, C 1.4, and D is 6.29. Similarly, the next question is at 30 degrees centigrade, the viscosity of benzene is. So please go through the viscosity table and find out the viscosity of important chemicals which is widely used in pharmaceutical practicals. So viscosity of benzene at 30 degrees centigrade is A option is 0.23, B 0.295, C 0.61, D 0.564. Next is if shear stress is equal proportional to velocity gradient, fluid is called as. So when the shear stress is equally proportional to the velocity gradient, what will be the liquid or what will be the fluid? A option is Newtonian fluid, B is viscous fluid, C is a laminar fluid, and D is not Newtonian fluid. So please go through the reading material and find out the correct option for this question. Then, which of the following represents the Newtonian fluid? A is lubricating oils, B is honey, C is rubber suspension, and D is synthetic oils. So, as we already classified the Newtonian fluids as well as the non-Newtonian fluid, so we have to go through the chapter and find out the correct answer for this question. The term rheology was invented by, first one is the Bingham and Crawford, B is Newton, C is Watson and Crick, and D is the Dalton. So as I already discussed in the introduction of rheology, so you have to give the correct answer for this question. Last question is fluidity is reciprocal of density, reciprocal of viscosity, reciprocal of volume, or reciprocal of surface tension. So fluidity, as I already defined, so please go through the reading material and find out the correct answer for this question. So these are the different questions in our quiz section regarding the today's chapter. So please go through the chapter and find out the more material regarding rheology. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.